Hello and welcome to another episode of Beer Man's Noble Beer Reviews. Today I have a beer from a new brewing company that I have not done a review for yet. This is from Pilot Brewing Company out of Charlotte, North Carolina. This was actually just released today. It was part of a barrel-aged 4-pack, variety 4-pack. See here it says single barrel Imperial Stout. So there was Imperial Stout, there was a single barrel English barley wine, single barrel quad, and single barrel wee heavy. So this is the first one of the 4 that I'm trying. I've not had any of the other ones. I looked and there's no ratings for it on tap yet, so no one is. I don't rate on tap, but I just looked to see if anyone else had tried it to see what their thoughts were. Nothing. So I might literally be the first, other than the people who own the brewery and stuff, I might literally be the first person trying this beer. I don't think a lot of people go there in Charlotte, which I don't know why, because I think they're a pretty good brewery, but they don't really package much, and they don't do like the crazy fancy new styles, so that's probably why. When I went there today, there was hardly anyone there, so like I said, I might literally be the first person trying this. I don't know. We'll see. This is a barrel-aged Imperial Stout, aged in Doc Porter's bourbon barrel. I guess Doc Porter's is a distillery in Charlotte, which I had never heard of before they put this out. And this is 10.0 ABV. Let's crack it open and see what we got. So you can see this, they got some hefty wax on this. I made a dent in it beforehand, so I wasn't sitting here on video trying to open it for 3 minutes or something crazy. So hopefully I can get it. There we go. Not too much from the cap. No idea what to expect from this, because I've been there a couple times and I've had some of their beers now, and I've liked them. I wouldn't have bought this if I didn't like what I had there before. But I definitely didn't even have anything that was like, I don't think I had anything other than maybe like a double IPA that was even higher in alcohol like this. So in general, I probably wouldn't buy something like this blind without having these types of things from the brewery before, but just given the times we're in and stuff, and I want to support places, and I hadn't been to this brewery since the COVID-19 stuff started, so I figured this would be a good opportunity to support them, and I'm hoping that this is like a diamond in the rough thing, and I picked out a winner. We'll see. But these were also one per person. Each style was one per person. So even if I do really like it, unless they didn't sell out and they decide to up that number, unless I can trade for it, I wouldn't be able to buy it again anyway, so we'll see. Whew, that smells like brownie batter. Wow. That is so fudgy. Holy shit. I'm not kidding. Like, wow. I was not expecting that. I will say a lot of times when I get barrel-aged stuff from like these small one-off distilleries, it always seems like they're so booze-laden but not much complexity from the barrel. But this, I mean, I would guess that it's barrel-aged, but most of the aroma is like super chocolatey. There's a little bit of like oak and vanilla, so that's the part that I would assume was barrel aged, but it's not like a really heavy like spirit ethanol driven aroma at all. Man, that is seriously like, it smells like they put Hershey syrup. I don't want to saying Hershey syrup kind of cheapens it, because it's not like that, because that would mean like that it was like shitty chocolate. This actually kind of reminds me of the aroma of some of the barrel-aged stouts from Fauna Flora, actually, because their stuff is like, well, theirs is a lot burny, like theirs is very boozy, but it also is just like very, very chocolatey, and this is kind of reminding me of that same thing. That is fucking delicious. Sorry, I know I generally don't swear in this channel very often. Not that beer is a kid thing, but there's just usually not much of a reason for it. But I get so excited when I have a new, difficult style from a brewery that I appreciate, that I feel like a lot of other people don't, and when they nail it, that makes me so happy, because not only do I know that they're living up to what I've thought was their potential, but it also means that their potential will be a lot more other people that might start appreciating them. I don't know the people who work here. I don't have any skin in the game. I just like brewers to be appreciated for the quality of beer that they're putting out. So I think this this will probably help them. This is very, very classic barrel-aged Imperial Stout. This is not, I said it's very chocolatey, but it's not like pastry-esque at all. It's, by today's standard, it's pretty thin, but it's not watery. I mean, it really reminds me of the aroma itself, and then after I took a sip, really reminded me of the barrel-aged stouts from Central Waters. Maybe not like, so I haven't had Ardeus and Cygnus. That's like the really crazy one that's like impossible to get. But whatever the next one, so I would say, I don't even know if I would say that it's like, because even their anniversary beers are like the Black Older. They're pretty freaking massive beers. But I would say like the regular barrel-aged Imperial Stout and the coffee one, like those ones, or most people would consider those like pretty thin, but they're delicious beers, and this reminds me of something like that. Now, I also am like really intrigued by most of the time when I have these barrel-aged beers, I've usually had the base, like the big crazy pastry stout stuff. A lot of times the breweries don't even sell the base, but for these classic Imperial Stouts, usually anytime I have the barrel-aged one, I've already had the regular one, so it's an easy comparison to know like what the barrel is adding versus what's actually in the base beer. Excuse me. In this scenario, I don't know that they definitely haven't packaged the base beer, but I don't even know if they sold the base beer or if they brewed this specifically to put the whole batch in barrels. I really don't know. But I did a search on there on Tap for like highest ABV, and like these came up, and I didn't see anything right underneath them that had like a similar name. So I think, or at least this one especially, I think was probably just made specifically for this, which is, I don't want to say it's unfortunate. I mean, this is a good beer, but I would like to try the base stout to see what that tastes like, to know what the barrel is contributing versus the beer. And I mean, this is actually pretty light in color too. Now that I'm looking at it, it's you can like on the edges of it, I can see my finger. It's kind of like a cola almost. I know most people like. To me, it is kind of thin, but it's thin the way that bourbon's thin. Bourbon's watery. It's not thick like a stout. It's not supposed to be. This is kind of like that. I mean, it's thicker than bourbon. That's kind of a stupid analogy, but I said the aroma, it was like Hershey syrup, but the flavor, I mean, it's definitely, you get some dark chocolate, or you get some like milk chocolate, but there's a lot of like dark chocolate and even baker's chocolate. Like, it's pretty bitter and not like a hot bitterness, but not super roasty either. It just reminds me of like bitter chocolate. And the more I drink it, I think, because it's opening up a little bit, because I opened this at a really good temperature. because it's chilled, but it's not cold, and I think that's really doing wonders for this. Because I don't know that there's enough body to it for if this was really cold, I don't think I would appreciate it nearly as much. But the more I drink it, I'm getting more of the bourbon the more I drink it. I mean, there's still a lot of that vanilla and chocolate is there for sure. I guess the vanilla is probably from the bourbon, but a lot of the chocolate notes are there, but it finishes with like a big whiskey wash. So this was $15, and that's another reason why I was kind of hesitant to buy it, because that's not even because it's their first run, but that's kind of expensive for a $3.75. It is, unless you're like a crazy one on brewery. But just having had the small things that I had from them, and I realized that they really could dial in like classic traditional styles. I had this feeling that even if I didn't love this, it would at least be like a well-made product and not inherently like disgusting or flawed. Which, I mean, it blew those expectations out of the water for sure. I don't know that I would say this is like an absolute steal. But I don't feel like I overpaid for this. I would spend $15 for this again. Just because it's a local product. I would say if this is a shelf beer, I don't know that I would buy it at $15. Well, yeah, I would if I could get it all the time, I guess. Because I'm just trying to rack my brain of things that are on the shelf consistently that are better than this. So Barrel Age Expedition is better than this and it's cheaper, but it comes out once a year, and not that this is year round either. But I'm saying that's why I said if this was on the shelf would I buy it? And I'm gonna say yeah, because I can't think of any like barrel aged stout that's consistently on the shelf much at all, much less something that's better than this. So, me possibly considering this not being a buy would be 100% price driven and nothing else. It's a really good beer, and especially since it's local, I would definitely buy this again, and I like to support them. But in general, if I bought this not knowing the brewery at all, it wasn't local, I bought it off the shelf, I don't think I would say it was a steal, but I would say it was worth the money that I paid for it. So I would give this a buy either way, to be honest. And the biggest takeaway I have from this is I'm actually really pumped now to try the other ones. Because this was the one that I was most worried for. I feel like it's probably easier to make like a barrel-aged quad be at least pretty good than a barrel-aged stout, because I don't know, it seems to be that way from what I've had from breweries that are not great at stouts, but they can do some other decent stuff. And so this was the one that I was probably like the most worried about, and they did a really good job on it. So I'm really excited to try the other ones. So yeah, this is a first beer that I've done from Pilot, and they pass the flying colors. This is really nice, and I can't wait to try the other one. So this is a buy for me. But I think that's all I got on this one. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think, and I look forward to doing the next one. Thanks.